Okay, this is a great way to start off the show with radio silence here.
No, I was
get the point. The point is to go.
To come up. Good evening.
You need me to do the count?
To the Unnamed Podcast, episode number 7. It is Tuesday night, July 22nd, 2014. My name is John. I'm your host this evening, and as always, joining me to my left, down on my far left, we've got Dave. Dave, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Just happy to be part of the show.
We are always happy to have you here. And to my other left, from his secret cave, parts unknown, the dark nerd, Jason, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good.
Doing his best Batman impersonation voice. Excellent. As you notice, we have no bumper music tonight. We're experiencing some technical difficulties, so you're just going to have to hum along in your head and imagine some music.
The technical difficulties is I was too lazy to set it up. But.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to be nice and call it technical difficulties, but
I'm imagining some amazing bumper music right now, though.
So I'll give you the year, 1969. Pretty famous movie. Guy says, I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
I think that means Jason knows.
Yeah, what's so funny?
One of our live audience says, too. Jason, you want to take a stab at it?
I was going to try to get David the go. I mean, it's.
I know the actor's name. I don't know the movie.
Okay. Then
all right, we'll go with that. Who do you think the actor is?
He's at. Oh my gosh. What?
I'm walking here. I'm walking here. He's hitting the roof of somebody's car while he's saying it.
Is it a roof or is it the hood?
The hood. I'm sorry, the hood. He's in New York.
Ahead, Jay. I'll see if I was right. I can't recall. I got bad.
It's definitely Midnight Cowboy.
It is definitely Midnight Cowboy.
But I don't remember who said the line. To tell the truth. Was it John Voight that said the line?
No, it was
Dustin Hoffman.
Well, I believe it was Dustin Hoffman.
Okay, so I was wrong anyways.
Were you close, Dave?
I was in the. I knew the time frame, so I was. It depends on what you think close is. But no, I didn't.
Of course you did the time frame. He gave you the time frame. He told you 1969.
No, I understand that. You're missing what I'm saying.
I
knew the time frame, so I knew the actors from that time.
Oh, yeah.
1969. Were you even born, Dave?
Yes, it is.
Were you even born?
Yes, probably not when
the last day of 1969. So that movie came out. That was a spring movie.
Interesting tidbit about Midnight Cowboy. Did you know that was an X-rated movie?
I did, yeah. And I don't even know why. I forget what was in there that was caused it to be X-rated, but
I believe it was the homosexual portions of it, and the sex scenes for 69 were pretty on the fringe. For today's standards, they'd probably just put it on Turner Classic Movies, but yeah, that was back when X-rated movies were not always pornographic.
Yeah.
Where in the world do you watch stuff like that, Jason?
What do you mean? Where do I watch?
I knew.
That movie is like classic. And the more I picture it in my head, the more I can see Dustin Hoffman doing it. Like, I'm walking here, because that's when the cab screeches up to him. He's like walking through a crosswalk or something. He's like, "I'm walking here." Yeah.
Dave, we are going to have to work on the movies that you've seen. We're going to have to spread out your horizons a little bit for movies.
Well, I mean, it's not as big of a movie buff. If we start doing some sports trivia, or tools, or manly
tools here.
Well, I think actually we're adding a segment to the show this evening. From the what does the dark nerd have? Does he have like a cave, a lair? What?
It's a secret underground lair.
from the secret underground layer, we're going to be showing off some of the special tools of the trade, and so we're going to make up for this because you could probably hold up a tape measure, and I'm not sure what that would be. So if it's I've got a helper here though to help me a little bit with the tools. So
All right.
On today's show, we kind of decided to last 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, lighten it up a little bit, and do a topic that something that I'm very familiar with, something that for the last 4 or 5 days I've done a lot of research on, because and I actually did some hands-on research today.
Wow.
Did not where I did my research today did not make my list, but we are going to talk about the famous, one of the American cultural icons, has been compared and put alongside with fried chicken and apple pie as being one of the culinary icons of this country, even though there's a little bit of debate about that. But we are going to talk today about the hamburger.
Hamburger.
So, some interesting background. The hamburger, they say, appeared somewhere in the 19th and 20th century. We Americans contend that we were the first people to put it together by putting this piece of ground beef in between 2 slices of bread, and someday it became what we call the hamburger. But really, its background comes from something called the Hamburg steak, which was something very popular in New York, but was very similar more to a Salisbury steak rather than what we know today as the hamburger. It was the Hamburg beef steak, and in many cases was sold for breakfast. So in the 1930s, it was replaced by the hamburger. Anyway, the hamburger. We're going to talk about some of our top 5 selections. I'm really looking forward to this because we all live in different parts of the country. We've all grown up in different places, and so I'm guessing we're going to get some really interesting takes on this.
And I do have 5 for you this time. So
You do have 5. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's skip all the other stuff and get right into it. I'm going to start on my far left. Dave, what do you have for number 5 selection for your favorite hamburgers?
Well, this is really tough. I put a list together, and I worked more kind of on the national chains. I've got a lot of local stuff and smaller regional stuff that I really like too, but I just stuck with. I just kind of went national. I thought it would be. I still like all of those as well, and I just thought it would be a good kind of platform for this. But probably in my 5th spot, I'm going to probably going to go with Whataburger as one of my favorites. And I don't know if you've got them, how far back east those go, and I don't know that they're even a real big chain anymore. I know that they've been around for a while. But just the Whataburger. It's just the onions and the pickles and the stuff has always been kind of burger I really enjoyed, although it's been quite some time, I'd have to say, since I've had one.
That's where I did my research today. I had a Whataburger today. I never eat at Whataburger, and have decided that I should probably eat there a little more often. Did not make my list, but good choice.
You know, the Whataburger out here in the East Coast, I mean, they're not very popular. I don't even know if there's any out here on the East Coast, but I used to go to Dallas a lot, and Dallas has tons of Whataburgers, and there's nothing like getting drunk and going to have a Whataburger at night.
Well, John can probably share a couple stories.
I was thinking of a different place for the drunken hamburger, but I'm going to save it. I purposely skipped some history, and I'm not going to mention the place. Remind me to where I'll tell you what I think of as a drunken hamburger place, but I don't want to ruin it or give anybody ideas if it's on their list. But okay, so what'd you put in the number 5 slot?
All right, number 5. This is a very mass-produced, very national chain, actually global, international hamburger, and that is the Big Mac quarter pounder with cheese. I love the quarter pounder with cheese. I know people out there are probably like, oh my God, McDonald's, but they sell 1 million of these things in like 2 seconds. Somebody's got to be eating them, and I've only had one like last month. I don't eat them a lot, but I love them. They're great. They are my great go-to fast, speedy hamburger.
The Big Mac or the quarter pounder?
The quarter pounder, yeah. The Big Mac it's good.
Well, you said the Big Mac quarter pounder, so I was clarifying.
Hey, oh, sorry.
Well,
Have you ever tried that? You get the Big Mac and the quarter pounder, you put them together. Yeah.
The quarter pounder, I believe, is the most versatile road food hamburger on the planet. You can open that thing up, eat it in the car. You can drop it on the floor. Once the cheese cools off a little bit, it forms this nice bond around the bun. There's none of the condiments are coming out. You could drop that thing on the ground and pick it up and it'd be in the exact same shape before you dropped it. It is the ultimate driving in the car, don't get anything on your clothes food.
You can shake it like a Polaroid picture. I mean,
the double quarter pounder with cheese is a little different because there's nothing between those two patties. They could slide apart. So just throwing that out there.
All right. That's an interesting choice.
Just a thought. We'll have to leave this on here. I think a good show talking about food and this kind of stuff would be road food. And that's something we'll have to keep in mind.
And I definitely have some ideas on that. Let's keep that for another show because I have specific things that I go to and I only order when I'm driving because of the spillage factor.
I have that list too. And there, you know what? I don't eat as much as I used to, so the quarter pounder's not on there, but the double cheeseburger is for the exact same reason. Just a smaller version.
Come on. We don't want to have too much crossover in shows here because that could be a great topic there.
So I sat and looked at my list and thought about, what's going to make the list. It was a combination of a lot of things, and maybe you could share with us as the show goes on, both of you, what you did. But I thought about a lot of things, what I like to eat. I got nostalgic in some of it, quality, and so I say that because my number 5 choice is a regional choice. I'm from the Bay Area, from the San Francisco area. There's a restaurant in the Bay Area called Quarter Pound Burger, and quality-wise for a hamburger, I would say that it borders on possibly a gut bomb, but the nostalgia of this burger, it's an old school, you pull up to an old Mel's Diner type of place, you get out of your car, you walk up to a window where there's this crusty guy that, you really don't you don't ask whether he washed his hands lately or not. He's just making hamburgers. You can get hamburgers at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a very good drunken hamburger place. And then you go sit in your car, and when he's done, he just kind of waves at you, and you come up and pick up your hamburger. It's very nostalgic for me from late night drives. But the hamburgers are good. They're what probably hamburgers were like back in the 50s. Inexpensive. But for me, a lot of it was the ambiance or lack of ambiance and the nostalgia factor. So I put that in my number 5 spot. So.
Yeah, there's the restaurant that really tries to be nostalgic and really isn't is Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if that's on your list or not. I don't want to go there. But.
I didn't even catch the name.
No, and this place has absolutely no class at all. I mean, certain parts of town in the Bay Area where this place is,
it's only in Oaktown.
You don't know that you want to get out of your car to get your hamburger, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a lifesaver. Dave, what do you got next?
My next place that I have is Fuddruckers. It's another place that I don't go to often. It's a little bit more, I don't know if you'd consider it not quite fast food, somewhere in between, but it's a good piece of meat. A lot of variations and stuff like that, but I like the whole topping section where you can kind of select what you want from different types of lettuce and toppings and cheese and all kinds of goodies, and that's just one I've really enjoyed over the years.
That was on my list actually, and got bumped because my show engineer brought to my attention another place that bumped it from my list. So, but that was on there right up until
See,
last minute.
these are
I'm not
actually kind of tough because I've got a handful of honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I'm not a big fan of Fuddruckers. I don't know why. I just don't like the way they're set up. I don't know. It's a good burger. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not my favorite place to go for a burger.
I agree. It's a good burger, but I never eat there. But Whataburger's a good burger too, and I don't eat there either. So
And probably from here moving up. I mean, and when I get into the rest of my list, and even Whataburger has, you start talking about nostalgia and memories and emotions and stuff. And one of the other reason that Fuddruckers is on that list, it's a place that my family used to get together at for a lot of years as kids and stuff when they were growing up. And we had our favorite booth. It was the Elvis booth, and we always took that and scoped that out as soon as we got in. So there's a lot of memories and emotions that tied to all of my picks actually.
Yeah.
cool. Well, Jason, where are you coming in at next?
Number 4. This is actually this is something because I don't even have it out here on the East Coast. It's another one of those not on the East Coast things, but In-N-Out burgers, animal style. That is when I went out to San Francisco. That's what I wanted. I used to travel back and forth from San Francisco. Carl's used to be on my list. And I know that I used to do a lot of the Carl's Jr. was where I wanted to go for these basically the Western Bacon cheeseburger, but In-N-Out, bar none, is way better than that. I mean, that's what I look forward to when I go out to the West Coast. I want to get an In-N-Out burger.
Wow. So you'll feel pretty bad if I told you I had a double on Sunday.
only if you say it was animal style. I need to have those onions on there, man.
I can't do the animal style, but we do like to do all that stuff on the fries. And In-N-Out Burger was one of my honorable mentions. Dave, you've probably broken some records at In-N-Out Burger, haven't you?
I've done 10 patties in one sitting. Probably one of the worst experiences of my life. I almost called 911, but I got 10 patties. I think about 6 slices of bread, a shake, and a large fry. That was probably more than a decade, 12, 15 years ago, and I believe you were in my company.
Damn, that's a lot.
The one thing you got to mention about the In-N-Out patty is these aren't like White Castle patties where you can throw down 14 of them and you still think like you can eat a couple more. These are regular size, they're probably a little bit less than a quarter of a pound burgers. But
that was one of my finer moments. I was absolutely starving. Started off with a quad, which was a 4x4, 4 patties, and I mowed through that. And I mean, I probably talked to both of you. There's those times when you get the train going and you can just keep on trucking, and that's exactly what happened. I got through that, a couple double-doubles. I think the last patty I had was actually a double-double that you and I shared. But, yeah, it was quite an experience.
Are we alone, or do we have any viewers?
We are alone right now.
So I can say then that just him discussing eating all that food makes me want to get up and go to the bathroom and either throw up or poop. Oh, so good choice. In-N-Out was on my honorable mention. My number 4, and I would like to take credit for this, but I can't. I have to give my lovely wife credit for this because she reminded me of this one that I had forgotten. It would have been a crime for me. Is Bob's Big Boy.
The old Bob's Big Boy.
The old Bob's Big Boy, one of in my opinion, one of the icons of hamburgers. I mean, it's hard to find a restaurant you can go to that's either not really high end or low end and get a burger. There's just something about the taste, in my opinion, of a Bob's Big Boy hamburger, and the guy out front, Bob or whatever he is, and I just felt like I could not. Yeah, there's the pose right there. I'm talking so nobody can see it, but yeah, the
I
pose.
I don't know the last. I mean, we had one. We lived in Valencia, we had one right down on McBean Parkway there from us, over in the Magic Mountain area. But we were pretty young. We were probably in our, adolescence area, and I know we've been there, but and I'm sure it was probably good, but it's just been too long for me.
the last Bob's Big Boy I went to was in Anaheim. That's down by Disneyland. That was the last one I went to. That had to been, oh man, late '80s maybe.
Yeah, and I'm just saying it's so long. So you were maybe still a teen, but long time ago.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like we all eat a lot of hamburgers. What is it? Why is the hamburger so popular? What's? I mean, because it really is an American icon for food, if you could call it that. But what's the deal? Why hamburgers?
I think it's a combination of a couple things. One, we've grown up with them. It's part of who we are. They're wonderful. Number two, I mean, they're easy, they're fast, they're quick. There's a lot of variety and different things you can do with them. But I think they're really just tied to us. It's Americana. It's part of the fabric of who we are.
I gotta say, for me, it is a grilled piece of beef. That is the thing there, and it really has to. You have to taste the grilled piece. That's why, going all the way back to my number 5 pick. When you look at McDonald's burgers, most of them don't taste like hamburgers. Like not in the traditional sense, that really charred beef taste. Quarter Pounder does. Quarter Pounder, you can actually taste the beef in that. Double Quarter Pounder, you can taste a lot, but it's like you said, it's the portability of it. But
you really got to try hard to taste that 5% of beef that's in that burger.
Yeah, McDonald's has the best kangaroo meat. No, actually, Jack in the Box was the kangaroo.
I don't care what they do behind the counter, as long as when it comes out to me, it tastes the same. That is the thing.
You're looking for consistency.
Yeah, most guarantee. Anytime you walk into any McDonald's around, if I went into McDonald's out here in D.C. or went into McDonald's in California, that burger's gonna taste the same. It's probably because it's all processed.
Same crappy burger, no matter where you go.
Yeah. It's just like the mystery meat at a lot of places, Jack in the Box tacos or something. Don't tell they're in there, but they all taste the same.
If you ever want to know what goes on behind the counter at McDonald's, I'll be more than happy to tell you off air. That was my very first job.
I know plenty of people that work there. It's the same thing with Burger King. I know that they microwave almost all their burgers when they come out, but it's still, you still go. They're still selling them.
Oh, I know, McDonald's. You know what? It's funny. Liz and I never eat at McDonald's. Yet when we travel, it seems like if we were in a 4-day road trip in the car, we'd probably stop at McDonald's 6 times because they're everywhere. Their bathrooms are clean, and you know that there's no guesswork involved when you go in there. You're going to get what you're going to get, and it's going to taste exactly the same coast to coast.
That's what drives me crazy when people go to McDonald's and they sit there and stare at the menu. It hasn't changed in 50 years. Just order what you know what you're going to order. They all end up ordering Big Macs and Quarter Pounders anyways.
Hey, well, Jason, a super quick story, but we went on a Grand Canyon trip. We met a couple of teenagers on there. I think they came from a wealthy family, and we stopped at McDonald's. That was part of the deal of this trip. That was the first time. They were like 15 and 17. First time in their lives, either one of them had McDonald's, and they grew up here in the United States.
Wow. Did they like it?
Do you remember what they said? I think they did like it. It was breakfast food. But their folks had just never allowed them to eat there before. I was like, had a hard time that they grew up in this country.
Well, what's interesting, we were talking about where the hamburger came from. The hamburger really took off after World War I and the Great Depression because hamburgers were fast and cheap, and they were used in urban centers. But the company that was really given the credit for getting the hamburger kind of on the map and changing things, and I would have thought it would have been McDonald's. But the people who really got things going, that started hygienic cooking methods, using a grill, and had their regular customer base come back all the time to eat, and this turned into a huge chain that was mentioned earlier, was White Castle.
Yeah. Hey, my headset's actually, it's a wireless headset. It's failing on me, so I'm gonna have to change my headsets real quick. So keep talking, and I'll change it. Right
guys having the problems.
It's all these toys.
Well, this sounds like a good.
While Go ahead.
Sounds like a good time to hear what Dave's number 3 choice is.
Well, I think I was going to pause for a minute because can Jason still hear us?
I don't
just
know.
want to make one other comment about McDonald's, and that'll get him back, and then
Go
give
ahead.
him a second to get back here. I honestly don't eat there very often. Maybe a couple times a year, at least lunch food. What I do occasionally when I'm on the road, though, is I do grab Egg McMuffin and a cup of coffee. I like their coffee. I've always liked their coffee. And I still don't go often, but when I get on the road or I'm headed over to Albuquerque or going up north, it seems like, and I usually leave pretty early, and I start getting a little bit hungry about mid-morning. Egg McMuffin and a coffee.
So, piece of trivia here. When did, and I don't mean the McDonald's franchise. I'll give you some help here, but because McDonald's actually started as two brothers. Well, actually, it started as Patrick McDonald and his two sons, Richard and Maurice. Where was their original, what you call the original McDonald's restaurant? Where do you think it might have been?
No
We didn't even
clue.
go at the state.
California.
Yeah, it was. It was in Monrovia, California in 1937, which led to 1940, where they actually opened up a restaurant on Route 66 in San Bernardino that they started calling McDonald's. And they started selling nothing but hamburgers at that point. And in 1953, they franchised it out, and that was when McDonald's took off. And actually, their first franchise area was in Phoenix, Arizona.
No kidding. That's very interesting.
That was kind of a unique thing. So while Jason is plugging in, I got some very interesting information. I have, I'm going to say it's probably like the top 20. Consumer Reports did a taste test, and for their top 20 hamburger restaurants. So I'm going to go backwards, thinking that I'm probably not going to hit anything that someone's talked about, but in reverse, starting with the lowest. The worst rating for taste was McDonald's, followed by Jack in the Box, Burger King, Crystal, and A&W.
Then there's Sonic.
A&W.
That was I just went 5 in reverse. We'll get through the whole list before the show is over. But we could do an entire show talking about why the Consumer Reports rates the worst hamburger anywhere is also probably the highest selling hamburger anywhere.
And that's something else. And we were just talking about a comedian talking about McDonald's, and we can talk about that later. But it is interesting because nobody ever wants to admit that they eat there, and they're selling billions of burgers.
Yeah. They used to have the sign that said 3 billion served, or 10 billion, or now it just says billions served, or something like that.
Back in the old days when I could eat a lot, when I was a lot heavier, I used to like to watch you go into McDonald's and hang out for a couple hours and watch the numbers change. All right, Dave, what's your number 3?
We're at number 3, okay, and this is where I said all of this is probably tied to my childhood, my top 3. So as much as I still enjoy these and I eat it,
childhood?
Well, whatever
that was
you like to call it, my youth. But it is the Carl's Jr.'s double bacon Western cheeseburger. It's just it's been one that I've always enjoyed. I grew up with it. We actually had one at an area that when I used to skateboard, they had a hill that we used to skateboard on, and I spent a lot of time in that Carl's Jr.'s growing up. But I always enjoyed their food. We also used to go there. That was a place we went from high school, so I get a lot of memories like that as well. But I still enjoy it today. I still probably have one of those every month. I probably get a double Western bacon cheeseburger. Just something about it, and I think it's tied to all of the memories and the fact that I just enjoy the burger too. I think it's a good burger.
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to the Western bacon cheeseburger, whenever I taste one of those, it really kind of just brings back tons of memories.
It is. It's funny. It's just those smells and everything that you associate with.
That's a good. That's a good choice. That would probably be. That'd probably be on my. If I was doing strictly fast food hamburgers, In-N-Out Burger. That would probably be my second. Second or third choice on the chain of fast food burgers. It's just kind of tough to eat. That's that other. When we do this road food, that's definitely not a good choice for road food.
Yeah, the double Western bacon cheeseburger, or even just the Western bacon cheeseburger, is not one that you want to take in the car with you while you're
Well,
driving.
hang on there. It's not for the amateurs. I spend a lot of time in the car.
Yeah.
The true master can eat a Big Mac while driving the car and not spill a shred of lettuce.
And John, because you put a lot of miles on. I understand, and we're going to have this show one day because it's going to be a great show. I'm sure we all we know the do's and don'ts of eting and driving, but there are times
when tribulations. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. What worked and what failed.
I've already got a good story for road food, but I'll have to buy my wife some flowers or something before I tell it because she'll be mad at me after I tell it. But Jason, what'd you end up with for number 3?
Number 3 for me, I thought it was a local thing, but apparently you guys have one out in Mesa, Arizona. It's called BurgerFi.
Oh yeah, BurgerFi.
Yeah, they're really overpriced burgers for one. Okay, I'm gonna throw that out there because
BurgerFi.
Yeah, FI.
FI, yeah. They're actually pretty good burgers. And here's one of the things that we were talking. I think we kind of laid mention to this once before. Sometimes it's not just a burger in there. They have good fries. They have good onion rings. That's the kind of things that you kind of look for when you're going into. This kind of goes up to the gourmet burger area where you're paying a little bit more, but you're getting a little bit better beef. You're getting a little bit better condiments and things like that on there. But BurgerFi is really good burger. They're just expensive. That's my biggest thing. Is they're expensive. But
what's expensive?
You'll spend $12 on a meal for a burger.
On a whole meal?
That's just for a hamburger and a drink. No fries.
I'm going to beat that one. Yeah. That's going to look cheap when we get to my number 2 selection.
Oh, I know there are definitely more expensive hamburgers, but this is if you've ever been to a BurgerFi, this is I wouldn't say it's a fast food place, but it's a quick burger. I mean, it's a no frills. You go in there, you order a burger. They kind of make it look nice, but it's really it's a burger joint. I mean, really, that's all it is. And when a family of 4, you're spending $60 to go and eat burgers. I mean.
Wow.
Burgers, because you want the fry. You want fries. You want onion rings. You want some other stuff too. I mean, and the burgers are not that big.
Dave, have you eaten there?
I have not. I'm familiar with the name and the chain, but I have not eaten there. It will definitely, I like to venture out. There's that new place I had mentioned earlier that I'd seen on the news, maybe Burger 21. I got a thing whenever I hear. It's kind of neat now that a lot of these regional places or smaller places are becoming a little bit more national and branching out. So I always look forward. It was just like I know one of Jason's other favorites is the Five Guys. The only time I'd ever had one of those originally was when I was back in the D.C. area. Now we've got them out here. So it's kind of neat to have these other places and be able to experience some different tastes and techniques and culinary art, in the burger world.
What's kind of interesting is you brought up, and it's going to lead into my next selection, the invention of the gourmet hamburger. You can now go into certain communities and see that even some of the top-ranked, television, I can't think of the guy's name, I will, but has opened up a gourmet burger restaurant, and so that leads into my next selection. I don't know if this is local or not. I know it's local, but I don't know if it's anywhere else, but we have a place called Zin Burger, Z-I-N Burger. And it is definitely, we're moving into the realm of the gourmet hamburger, at least a $12 hamburger minimum, and that's just an ordinary burger. Very upscale, very eclectic type of restaurant. They have a bar. One of the neat things they do is they serve gourmet milkshakes. Some of them even with alcohol in them. You're waited on by a true waiter, and they have just such unique hamburgers. The quality of the meat's gone up, but you're moving into blue cheese toppings and just the ordinary bacon cheeseburger's not the thing. It's the kind of place that Liz and I go to when we want a really nice hamburger. We're in the mood for a hamburger, but we don't want it wrapped in plastic or paper or in a styrofoam container or something like that. The fries are over the top, and they play music. It's like going to like a little nightclub for hamburgers.
Awesome. I might have. I've never tried one of those. I will definitely put that on my list of places to go because.
Yeah, they do have them out here east, on the east, but they're kind of very limited. I think the closest one here is Charlottesville, which is about 2 hours away from me. So I don't know if I'll make the trip down there just for a Zen burger. But
yeah, that's not that good.
Yeah, especially 2 hours to go spend $30 on 2 burgers and a couple of drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that. It's like I said, it's the kind of place we go to when we just want a hamburger, but we want something a little upscale. You want to have a glass of wine with it, or something else. It's almost like a hamburger for dinner type of place, where we can act like snobs. So moving into, so we're getting down to the good stuff. Dave, what do you got for number 2?
Well, just before I share that story, I just gotta have. Did you guys get my note on that Burger 21 place?
We did.
It just opened up here in Scottsdale, and the Zen Burger place that you're describing sounds a lot like this. I actually got on Burger 21's website and took a look at it, and it seems similar in the way they're going about their business. It's a very gourmet-style burger. The toppings, a little more upscale kind of thing, and I definitely want to try that out. So maybe next time you're in Phoenix, we'll have to put that in our schedule and maybe have some lunch together. My second spot in both of these are absolutely, I told you I was sticking more with the national chains. These are definitely childhood stuff, but Tommy's Burgers was one of my favorite growing up. There was one off the 405. We spent a ton of time at the beach growing up, a lot of time down on Malibu and Zuma, and inevitably on the way home, almost every single time, we stopped at Tommy's for a burger. It's just a good old greasy burger. There's a lot of memories and things that I tied to that experience. Very awesome, great experience, and just a lot of good childhood memories there too.
Excellent.
I don't remember Tommy's Burgers. Maybe you only took your friends there.
Well, if you remember in high school, I don't think we were traveling down to. I was hanging out with a little bit different crowd than you were, and spending a lot of time down there. We made some beach trips together, but they weren't normally. See, you went to school most of the time. A lot of my trips to the beach were in the middle of the week. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is funny because you got better grades than I did, but.
This
goes
to show you what school means.
Right.
What's occupying your number 2 spot?
All right, number 2 for me is definitely a local favorite. Actually, it's not really even. It's a fairly new place. They only have them here in D.C. and then they have one up in Philadelphia. It's a place called Good Stuff Eatery, and they serve. Not only do they serve great burgers, and they are in that gourmet area where they're you're looking at an $8-9 burger, but the shakes that they make there are incredible, and they make shakes like they have this one where you can get a what is it? Now I'm trying to remember the name. It's like a banana that they've actually braised, and then they put it in this milkshake with like marshmallow. I mean, it's good. They're really really good. And it's actually
Foster milkshake.
Yes, exactly. It's a Banana Foster's milkshake. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And
Wow.
they make one called a cotton candy milkshake, which is actually tastes like cotton candy. You put pieces of cotton candy in it. It's pretty incredible. It's definitely more modern of a burger shop, but it's a really, really good burger. Plus, they have great fries. Boardwalk fries are my favorite. I love boardwalk fries. I like fries with the skin on them and things like that. That to me is good fries. Although I mean I do like McDonald's fries because who doesn't? I mean,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I like boardwalk fries.
What McDonald's lacks in hamburgers, they make up for in fries. That's for sure.
I think they
Um,
put MSG or something in there because you just crave it. You
I
crave
heard they
those.
put sugar on them.
Don't you have like Shake Shack and Steak and Shake and all that back on the East Coast?
I have not seen a Steak and Shake out here.
Shake Shack?
They may have them maybe in the northeastern area, but out here in Virginia that they don't have any. Not that I'm aware of.
Well, before I give my number 2, I think it's probably safe to move up the list again a little bit further, not to steal anybody's choices. So, again, moving backwards from this is what Consumer Reports says their people are telling them for the best hamburgers, best tasting hamburgers going backwards. We did the 5 worst. So the next 5 in reverse order would be Sonic, Checkers Drive-In, Wendy's, White Castle, Carl's Jr. I guess I'll do a couple more. Hardee's and Steak and Shake.
These are the best tasting hamburgers?
These are national hamburger chains rated, but I'm doing them in reverse order. So you were offline when we did the 5 worst, which was McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King, Crystal, and A&W. So actually McDonald's got the worst rating taste-wise of any hamburger, and Dave and I were kind of joking about that because McDonald's sells more hamburgers than anybody, and they got the worst taste rating of all.
What's funny is that worst taste rating, I think those burgers are way better than what's on your best tasting. Like A&W burgers, awesome. McDonald's, awesome.
Boy, they got really, really bad ratings.
You look at Sonic, I mean, it's good, but I think that there's a lot of things better than Sonic.
Well, it's we'll finish off the list. We're talking about gourmet burgers and milkshakes is going to lead us to my second choice, and so I'm gonna tempt you a little bit and tell you that this place has everything from the classic hamburger to hamburgers made vegan to the meatball burger, which is made out of beef, pork, veal. The Memphis burger, which is topped with Memphis smoked barbecue sauce. The big fat Greek burger, which has got spiced lamb in it. The gold standard dry aged sirloin beef with smoked bacon, aged goat cheese. There's a Kobe burger. And then you start talking about milkshakes. That seems to be the thing now with gourmet hamburgers is gourmet, and they call these bamboozled shakes. Everything from the drunken monkey to the frozen grasshopper to the campfire s'mores, which is Smirnoff marshmallow vodka, chocolate syrup, and crumbled graham crackers. The cereal bowl, 3 olives, loopy vodka, Fruit Loops, and Captain Crunch. I'm not sure how you mix the vodka with the Captain Crunch, but the waiter there told us that that this place was really, really good. I mean, that the milkshakes were amazing, but I just could not bring myself to have one. So, in order to take you here, I'm going to transport you to Las Vegas, to the Cosmopolitan Hotel with their gourmet hamburger restaurant called Holstein's.
Yeah. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It
sounds a lot better than it is.
Does that mean you've been there? Or?
Yes, I have been there.
And you did not like it?
It was okay.
Wow, I really, I don't know, maybe maybe it was just because the atmosphere and again, I wanted a hamburger. I wanted some simple food, but I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. You know, I kind of like the ambiance, and you know, my wife and I have separate eating tastes. You know, everything she eats comes out of the ground or from a tree normally, and everything I eat either walks, swims, or flies. So it's kind of one of those restaurants where we can both go. She can eat healthy, I can eat not so healthy, and so that was probably some of the appeal. But that would be
You
my.
know, I didn't find. I mean, I thought their restaurant was okay, but it seemed like just a standard, like in a strip mall. Well, it's not really a strip mall, but you know what I mean. It's part of that casino where it's just kind of a.
Yeah, it's in a
table
strip.
to
It's
sit
like a
down.
strip mall.
Yeah, it's like a little strip mall thing, but I don't know. It was good, but I didn't think it anything special. I think it was because hey, we're in Vegas, and maybe we've had drinks or something before we went there. I don't know. Alcohol makes everything taste better, I tell you.
Well, they claim the quality of their meat is. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, how much I don't care how gourmet you make it, it's still a hamburger at the end of the day. I mean, we are trying to put lipstick on a pig here in some cases.
I don't. Well, that's to me. I mean, the good hamburgers are about the beef. That's why you know, it comes down to it. It comes down to what the beef tastes like, and when you look at what I've said, with the exception of McDonald's, because I know everybody has big changes on McDonald's, but the beef really, really makes the burger. I mean, you go to some place like a BurgerFi or you know, even that place, the Burger 21, or what you were talking about. That what really makes it is that the quality of the beef, and being able to taste the beef.
Well, I hope
I
so,
mean,
because that's pretty much the meat of the burger.
Well, I
yeah,
guess
but, you know,
the next
some
time you're in
people-
Vegas, you'll have to try Holstein and cast a tie-breaking vote.
Yeah. The thing
Yeah,
is,
I'm
that, you know,
together.
some people put so much condiments on their burger that you don't taste the beef anymore. You taste all the condiments. And granted, I like things like, you know, I forget there was a burger joint out in Van Nuys out in California where it was like this burger with you could put with a pineapple on it and barbecue sauce. It was actually pretty good, but it tasted more like pineapple and barbecue sauce than it did the beef. But I don't know.
Well, we're down to the winner here. So, Dave, what do you got for your best choice?
Well, this is pretty easy for me. Here again, the whole childhood thing. This is where we hung out in high school. They came to the Valley here. I don't know. It's probably been a decade ago. I could have this burger if I'm just looking for something to eat, or if I'm starving, or if I've had a few drinks. Is the In-N-Out Double Animal Style. That is the burger. That thing is it's amazing. It's a go-to. So much tied into that. I mean, I love the burger itself. I love that the atmosphere and all the memories surrounded to it. But that was a pretty easy pick for me.
Well,
I thought you were gonna say Noggles, but you know.
I don't even know what that is.
I know.
I love Noggles. That was another one. I mean, maybe it's some memories too. It's all that's just tied into it.
I think it was a strictly Southern California thing. I don't think I ever seen a Noggles outside of Southern California, but
I worked at one in high school, so.
yeah.
Well, so before we hear Jason's number one pick, we left off at Steak and Shake. We're still going backwards. Next four on our list: Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, Burgerville, Whataburger in the top 10, Culver's, and Fuddruckers. So we got some people that made our list. Jason, what do you have for your best choice? Best in show.
This is an absolute hands down slam dunk for me, and I know that maybe I know you disagree with this, Dave, but Five Guys Burgers and Fries, absolute slam dunk, hands down best burger out there. I love Five Guys hamburgers, and you know it has to do with a lot of things. One, the burger is fantastic, it just tastes great. It's messy, it's disgusting looking, but it's awesome. But the fries are great, and the ambiance of the place is great. You get peanuts before you go and get your burger and stuff like that. I mean, it's like a perfect place for me. I love it. I love Five Guys.
I don't know why you call me out on that. I think it's everybody else. I don't. I actually like that burger. It's just I haven't eaten there enough either. I think I've had a couple times when I was back in D.C. area with you, and I think I've had it once out here. And I don't know why I haven't gone to it more. I'll have to give it another shot. I don't think it's going to rival any of my top couple just for my own reasons, but I never thought it was a bad burger.
Yeah, one thing you got to recognize about Five Guys too is they use regional beef, so the beef is going to be different depending on where you are in the country. That being said, I know that the burgers taste different. I've had it in California; it tastes different out there. It actually started out here in Lorton, Virginia, really close to where we were going to Five Guys since the early '90s. I mean, it's a new phenomenon that they've kind of chained and went across the country and exploded all over the place.
It's definitely a phenomenon. When they opened them up out here, the lines were blocks long, at least in Tucson. I'm the one you were thinking of that's critical of Five Guys. I rarely go to Five Guys. I think their hamburgers just kind of like, and maybe this is the appeal to it, just kind of tastes like something you cook in your own backyard. I don't like their fries at all. I do like the peanuts, but I will say when it comes to hot dogs, I think, look at the look on his face. I'm the only one who can see it right now. Or nobody can see it but us because I'm talking, but he's got this look on his face like I just hit him with a stick or something. I think Five Guys has some of the best hot dogs anywhere, though. The way they grill them on that open grill and slather them with all that other stuff. But
the hot dogs taste good because they're cooking it in hamburger fat.
Well, yeah, anything tastes better if it's cooked in fat. But yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Here's the thing with Five Guys: you have to get it with cheese and you have to get it with bacon. It makes the burger.
And see, that's how I get the hot dog. I get bacon and everything. So you're right. Maybe that is part of it. Maybe it's the hot dog cooked in bacon, hamburger fat.
I like making my own burgers. I like going and getting ground beef and making my own patties. It's not on the list, but it's on my list. I mean, seasoned right and what have you. You're talking about the beef. I mean, I don't even need to make a burger. I go fry up a big lump of ground beef and throw it on a plate and just mow down. I mean, that's good stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at home, if you've got a grinder, if you got a meat grinder,
it's a house burger.
You can make pretty much what if you want a porter or a New York strip burger or whatever you want to do. Yeah.
See, now it's funny you mentioned house burgers. This is a very quick story, but I know there's a comedian who tells jokes about this. A house burger at my house when I was growing up was my mother made these patties that were twice as thick as they were wide, and she broiled them in a broiler so they were gray and they had fat all over them, and then she put them on 2 pieces of white bread. She had to take 4 bites of Wonder Bread before you ever even got to the hamburger. A house burger. It was
the comedian you're talking about is Eddie Murphy, and he tells a story because all the kids everybody's going to McDonald's, but they ain't got the money to go, and their friends are teasing them. And the kids are having a hard time, and they're like, "We don't want no house burger. We want McDonald's."
Yeah, he was talking. He was definitely talking to me. So, well, Jason, you'll be happy to know that we round off our taste test, and the last 4 people on the list are Smash Burger, who I've never heard of. Five Guys came in at number 3. In-N-Out is number 2. And someplace I've never heard of, barely edged out In-N-Out burger, called the Habit Burger Grill.
I don't know that either, and I don't. Smash Burger I'm familiar with. I actually think we have them here in the Valley, but I've never been to one. I know we do. I've seen them. I know I've seen them. I'm going to actually try and Google it right now because I'm curious now. But if it's on that list, we're definitely going to have to go try that out.
Yeah, I think Habit Burger is only California.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're all over the place, but...
Well, Well, so my best in show, I had to go nostalgic. Unless you grew up in the Bay Area and specifically in a little town called Hayward, you wouldn't know this place. But it's a little hamburger place up on B Street called Val's Hamburgers. It is like sitting down in a diner. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of like what Bob's Big Boy probably tried to nationalize. It's a restaurant. It's been owned by the same family for probably 3-4 generations. They actually buy beef that they grind up themselves and hand press hamburger patties. You have a choice of a mama, a papa, or a baby burger. The Papa Burger is a 1-pound hamburger. They make their own buns right there because you just can't go buy 1-pound hamburger buns. Fries, I particularly like them because they're those skinny little shoestring fries, kind of like McDonald's makes. And then, of course, they have milkshakes and stuff that still come out of that silver thing that mixes them up. And it's just, you know, anybody that's grown up in the Bay Area, when they go back there, will go there. Normally, if you go at lunchtime or dinner time, the wait's going to be out the door, and there's, you know, second, third generation people going to eat there. So I had to go nostalgic, and you know, at the end of the day, the hamburger is an American icon, and all these blue cheeseburgers and everything else. Really, what the hamburger is all about is you know, just that type of burger.
It's all about the beef, baby.
It's all about
beef.
Where's the beef? Where's the beef?
Yeah, kids don't get
that's
that, but it's funny.
That's iconic. How long did that commercial play?
Oh my gosh!
Name the restaurant it was for.
Well, come on,
I think everybody knows that.
Not everybody.
We all know it's Burger King.
No, it's not.
Really?
It's not Burger King.
It's that horrible
lady
that makes square hamburgers.
Yes. That Burger King doesn't make square hamburgers.
I know it's funny. I was being sarcastic.
Hey,
well,
just so you know, before we get off here, you've got 3 smash burgers in Tucson, and they're all fairly close proximity to each other. It seems like they built them. They must have depended on the demographics there. That's kind of interesting. But you got one on 22nd and Cole, one down on Grant, 4821 East Grant, and one at the Alvernon and Broadway, northwest corner of Broadway and Alvernon.
I guess I'll have to check. Guy, that's where I was just at today.
Oh, they have one out here in Virginia too.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them in Phoenix. So anyway, moving on.
You know what we were talking earlier about the what kind of hamburger do I get when I'm drunk hamburger, and what I was really expecting someone to bring up was the stoner, what I would call the stoner special for hamburgers would be the White Castle burger. I mean, that'll cure any hangover.
Yeah, you know, I didn't eat a bunch of White Castle growing up. I've had them. Another story, and it's been so long. I don't even remember the last time I saw one. Maybe there's one over in New Mexico or something that I came across.
Those things are disgusting. If you remember in Saturday Night Fever when they're ordering the White Castle burgers and they show them being made and they order like a dozen a piece and he's just shoving them in his mouth and just the thought of that.
Oh man.
Well,
I don't even think there's a White Castle. I don't even know where the closest White Castle is here. I know when I was up in Chicago I had White Castle, but it's kind of one of those. It's one of those things where you don't go because it tastes great. You go because you can order 12 and you can eat all 12.
Well, the scary thing is that I'm hungry. I had salmon for dinner. Why I had salmon before we talked about a hamburger show is beyond me. But all this talk has made me hungry. But we have a new segment on the show. Jason, why don't you tell us about it?
All right, I'm going to show you a tool, not a person, but an actual
this
tool.
This is a family show.
I thought we were looking at it.
This is a tool, and I'm going to give you some hints because I think it's really kind of an obscure tool. It's not something common that you'll see, but I want you to guess what it's used for. And you can be comical if you want to, but here you go. Here's the tool, and I'll show you all the different sides to it.
Well, that's obviously an industrial wine opener for
Yeah.
the serious wine connoisseur.
So what? I'll take a couple of hints.
All right.
I got a pretty good. I know what it does. I just don't know what it's specifically for.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the hints?
The hints is it's used in plumbing. That's
Okay.
gonna be the first
All
one.
right, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that could be something to do with and the fact that it has a screw in it. It's a puller for either. Well, it wouldn't be in the drain. Would it be the handle? Oh, the top would
Looking at
fit
it.
down into a. Let me see that one more time. The bottom.
You got the picture right in front of you. You know what it is.
I did
I
the
have
picture.
no idea. Is that looks like some high tech how you change the toilet paper in the bathroom thing? I have no clue.
It's plumbing. It's obviously a puller that thread has a screw in the middle that threads into the center of something.
Yeah.
So it's either a drain, something to do with the faucet.
Well, I can tell you when I used it. This part here that goes back and forth. This was kind of useless. This nut that it has on there. You could take this nut off, and it was kind of useless for me.
Is that designed to sit down into something?
I don't
Is that
know
what
exactly
that
what
is?
that is. I think it's just used for leverage or something. I don't know. I didn't use it. I basically took it off and only used this
So
portion.
tell us, what is it?
It's some kind of puller.
Yeah, you have in your bathtub you have the thing that turns on the water. It's just the one pull.
Yeah.
This actually changes the cartridge that's inside there. So when you have a leak, you can actually use this tool to pull the cartridge out and put a new cartridge in that doesn't leak.
There's a cartridge inside. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So imagine
The main valve that controls.
the handle. Yeah. So these little things are used to loosen the old cartridge up. This screw is actually where you would screw it goes
Right.
into where the handle goes, and then you kind of pull that old cartridge out, and you put this new cartridge
Wow.
back in. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well, that's what it's used for.
can we do something easier next week, like a screwdriver or something?
I'm trying to find obscure tools that I have lying around the house that maybe you wouldn't be able to figure out.
Well,
They are.
What is this for?
someday we'll talk about my background in tools. But so that was good. Thank you. So before we close up, why do they say it? What do we mean when we say high on the hog? And I know it means living. You're living high on the hog. But where
Okay, I think I know this one. I get the first crack at this.
Go for it.
When you're talking about the meat from the hog, isn't the top portion considered like the premium stuff? And as you got down, the further down, I don't know exactly how this would go, but the top cuts and stuff like that are the premium cuts.
That's
Maybe
exactly
it's saved
what
for
that
the
means.
guests or company or that kind of thing. And am I on the right track?
That's exactly what it means.
You are. When small farms dotted the countryside, every household raised a pig or two. No part of the animal was ever thrown away. Even the intestines were savored as chitlins. Present-day purchasers of country-cured hams often saw off the hocks and use them to season soup. Small slices that include whorls of fat can be cut from the lower part of the ham. But for a real feast, slices must come from high on the hog, above the center of the animal's leg. Very nice. Well, we've talked about hamburgers, we've talked about plumbing, we've talked about pork. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to go make myself something to eat and maybe soak in the bathtub while I'm eating a bacon burger.
And I got a feeling you may be destroying some plumbing later.
Well, just to let you know, in 2 weeks, preseason football starts up, so we're going to have to do football picks. Pick them till they scab and bleed.
Are we picking preseason?
I don't know. Preseason is such a
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no reason to pick it because nobody's trying to win.
Yeah,
It's
preseason football is like making out with your sister.
I wouldn't know. Did you make out with my sister once?
I'm sorry, I actually meant making out with your sister, not mine. So you take it however you want.
Oh,
that's funny.
I can't imagine that, and I won't.
That's good. I can't either. So, Dave, any last comments?
No, I enjoyed that. I think I actually stopped and got a burger on my way in. I thought we're talking about the show, kind of this will get me into the mode and all of that. But through the show, I'm hungry again. I think I could go have another burger, and I'm actually considering maybe tracking down a smash burger and giving it a whirl. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's what got my mindset. I'm glad we were talking about burgers and not something disgusting.
Okay, well, Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's 12:13 here on the East Coast, so all the burger joints are closed. I don't even know if actually, I think the McDonald's drive-thru is open 24/7.
Yeah, are you kidding? McDonald's never closes.
They got to do something there. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna go to bed, but I do have a craving for a burger. There are lots of times when I'm like, man, I could really go for a Five Guys right now, and the hamburger. The hamburger's pretty good too.
Five Guys be good to you.
Yeah.
The In-N-Out burger sounds pretty good to me, but I think I'm just gonna. But I am hungry now that we've talked about all this. So I believe you're going to be gone next week. Are you not? Are we not?
Yeah. So it's definitely gonna have to be 2 weeks out.
Playing Pirates of the Caribbean or something?
Yeah, I'll be down in that area.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing all about your trip, and be safe, and we're looking forward to another exciting show in a couple weeks. So normally we'd be queuing up some bumper music right now, but since we don't have any, I guess I could just hum a little bit, or just say good night, and on behalf of myself and Dave and Jason, it's been great. Thanks for joining us this evening.
All right, on the count of three, say click. 1, 2, 3, click.